Taylor Torrence, thank you
Hey.
for coming on the Free Yourself podcast. So excited to have you here. How are you doing
Yo,
today?
actually, sorry, one second. Before we get into it. I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi. Let me let me rejoin, bro. I'm sorry. One sec.
But that'll be awesome. That'll be an awesome start.
All right, I'll be right back.
Cut, and then
All right.
On the wrong
We'll
Wi-Fi.
have a lot less lag this way, I promise.
Well, so wrong Wi-Fi? You have two Wi-Fi services in your house?
Well, I got the 5G and I got the 2.4G, and I don't know about Wi-Fi, but the 5G seems twice as fast.
That's pretty great. So no side effects, no like crazy.
Not yet, man. We'll talk in 20 years. We'll see if I'm growing a third arm.
Yeah, right.
That might happen, but for now, man, I'm digging the 5G. So we'll see how it goes.
Dude, they were trying to spread some conspiracy that like 5G started COVID and like all this shit.
Stuff, man. Facebook's a crazy ass place right now. It's a little too crazy, man. But we got the choice. We got to get on there.
It's funny. I forget what podcast I heard it on, but they were talking about how like Facebook is like, oh my God, this crazy shit is happening. This crazy shit is happening. Here's my recipe for truffle something. Oh my God, everyone's dying. I'm mental health. Here's my recipe for the like.
I know, right? Yeah, here's the best chicken wing sauce. But hey, I mean, I guess it's better to have some chicken wing sauce recipes in there than none. Although I wish Facebook was just brownie recipes and chicken wings and stuff.
Right. I guess it goes back to Justin's teachings where you got a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of green juice. So you got to give
exactly. You got to balance the yin and yang, bro. Otherwise, we just go crazy, But yeah. By the way, I wanted to ask you, man. So what have you been up to? I mean, I've seen you, trying to start the Free Yourself thing. I just want to know what you've been building.
Well, this whole Free Yourself podcast, you're either episode 115 or 116, I forget, but it started off as a weekly music podcast where I would do a set and I would get, a lot of music from the Cosmic Guys. I would get on hypedit.com, people that would have free downloads, and I would just anytime, because there's so many bots and stuff on Instagram.
Of course.
So anytime like I would have an artist, like my stuff to try and get me to like and comment and follow them.
Yes.
I would just message them and be like, hey, I have a weekly podcast. I'd love to get, and then I established the relationship, and it was great for a while. And, not gonna lie, like then I got into a relationship and, working 5 days a week, having that whole day, because that whole day was me reaching out to people, getting music, planning it, then doing the podcast. And it was taking up like 6 hours. It was like a work day doing all that. And got to do not so much a practice run, but set it up, beats per minute so I could, slowly progress. And because it was all genres. So like I could start off with like an 86 beats per minute song and go and work my way up. And, so then I took a break from doing that, and then lo and behold, COVID, happens and everyone's doing live streams. And I'm like, I've been doing that shit. But
jump into that because that's been something I've been trying to figure out as well. It's crazy where the industry's gone, but we'll jump into that in a minute. So when did you kind of shift the format?
So it was last summer. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break, and I had 3 gigs last summer. We opened for Chris and I, the remote controllers, opened for Henry Fong. We opened for Throttle, and then it was my birthday party gig. And they were all on boats in the freaking
I think we're seeing that one.
Yeah, what the fuck is the river? Hudson River in New York.
Yeah.
In New York. I was like, this is a really famous, everyone knows this river.
George Washington and shit.
And those were really cool because also like we were, we're opening. So we're at the beginning of the nights, and then we'd go and we when the headliner would be playing, the boat would be right in between like Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. So
I love that, dude.
See that, and then you see the New York skyline. Like, it was so freaking sick. And so I was like, these three are gonna, and it just so happened that was episode 98, 99, and my birthday was 100.
Nice. That worked out well. That's cool.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna Chris and I are gonna focus on music because let's face it, if we were getting opening gigs, but like we're having to sell tickets, we're having to plan the sets, where we both work full time. Like, so the more we were getting opening gigs, which blessings, like, so grateful. We've gotten to open for so many incredible artists now. Like, some of our literally his biggest influence in Laid Back Luke and my biggest influence in Dioro. Like, we hit like our biggest goals with opening for people. And so what we wanted to do is take a step back, stop taking gigs, and focus on music production. Lo and behold, 3 tracks, all signed.
You guys killed it with that.
The third one's coming out in about a month from now. And
okay, I was gonna ask.
So we're freaking pumped about that. And then we've got a whole bunch of other music that we're doing. We have a couple different collabs and stuff. But the big thing over the last month and a half to 2 months, really in quarantine, I was like, I want my podcast back. I want it to be I want it to be a talking podcast because I want to get people to know all these artists that I love, like you, to promote that stuff.
Yes. People, like, I think about this all the time. I talk to my wife about it. 10 years ago, the music, all you got to do is just put out some music. Social media hadn't really exploded in the way that it has now. I mean, you think 10 years ago was 2010. Facebook and Instagram. I don't think Instagram existed in 2010.
No,
but people didn't
so
have the same. Yeah, I think it was maybe 2011, 2012. People now in 2020, they want to know who the actual artist is, which, I mean, it's double-edged sword, right? I read this article from Dr. Dre, who obviously came up in the 90s. There's barely even Windows 95 didn't exist when he was coming up.
Yeah.
And it's like, it kind of kills the mystique because you know everything about the artist now. You see what they're doing day to day, and so it kind of kills the mystery. And I understand that because, growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, you have your favorite artists and you don't know every detail about their lives, so you kind of imagine them to be way more badass than they might actually be. But I think overall it really is, it's nice because you can, for me, for example, I have a pretty big community around my music, or at least, pretty engaged, and you can actually make friends and connections and establish relationships with so many more people. And yeah, it kind of kills the mystique, but people want to know who you are. And I think that's a good thing. It allows, especially if you're being authentic, all you got to do is be yourself. It's not that hard to do, so I think of it as a blessing, to have these opportunities where you actually get to show people who you are and not just what your music is,
Yeah. And to your point, it makes it easier for new and upcoming artists to reach out to and connect with artists that are maybe like the tier above, so that we can get support and stuff. AKA my man Taylor Torrence getting the most epic support possible on his music.
Yeah, it's been a good year, man. It's actually kind of blown me away. And you're totally right, man, because I'll tell you, a lot of it is with the support that I've gotten. I think some of it is just having that accessibility to actually talk to some of these artists and establish an actual relationship with them. Because, I think when you sign a song, obviously the label is emailing out, blasting out all of the promo for you. But it's a lot better when you actually know somebody and you say, hey man, like, I got this track coming out. I really appreciate your support. And that personal message, dude, that goes way further than any record label could do for you or anybody. I mean, obviously you got to have the platform of getting your music to as many ears as possible, but nothing can replace that personal connection. That having the ability to reach out directly to another artist, it's been huge for me, man. It's been great. It's been a big year too for support, and mostly just due to that,
Hell yeah, man. Come on, let's not be modest. Let's tell the world. Let's tell the world. First off, again, congratulations. We've got another release coming out.
That's right.
Electric Kids.
That's right.
by Tritonal, the Taylor Torrence remix.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how this song came about and what made you decide to do the remix and yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me about this song.
Totally, man. Totally. Um, so first of all, like as we sit here today, it's Tuesday. The song comes out Friday. By the time this episode airs, it might be out. I think it'll already be out, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's dropping the Monday after
I
the
got you.
mm-hmm.
So as we sit here today, it's coming up. So by the time that this episode airs, like, I don't know what, who knows how well it will do, but I hope it does well. But, Tritonal for me, this is an interesting story, actually. When I was in college, I went to college at a school called UC Davis. It's up in the Northern California, Sacramento area. It's right between Sacramento and San Francisco. So it's kind of in the Bay Area a little bit. And this was my freshman year was 2008, and I joined a fraternity called Phi Kappa Psi. All right. And these guys, the reason why I joined my freshman year is because these guys were all about electronic music. And this was like when EDM was starting to get big in the US. And so these guys, like their recruitment party was like a rave. Okay. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, I want to join these guys. So I'm all about this stuff. So I joined, and then it was the spring of my freshman year. So it was 2009 spring. Some of the guys in the fraternity who were older than me, they were like juniors and seniors at the time. I was just like a pledge or whatever. These guys, they threw this massive event at the school, and the school let them rent out like the huge concert venue that the school had. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, it was like a 5,000-6,000 capacity concert, that they put on. It was like an electronic event, and Tritonal was the headliner. And I was into trance music at the time, but I didn't know. I had heard of Tritonal at the time, but I didn't know their music that well. And so I was like, yeah, I'm excited to check these guys out. And so, I went to that event because it was kind of thrown by these guys in my fraternity. And I had a blast at that event. It was so much fun. I met so many people at my school because I lived in the dorms. I just walked down the road, and there was the concert. So after that, I was a huge fan of Tritonal. And then in 2011, which was my junior year of college, they put out this album called Piercing the Quiet. And I remember I loved that album so much. And that was, I think, their debut album. And it was huge. And it really put them, Tritonal, kind of on the global scene. Like after that, they really blew up. They're already big in the US because they're from Austin, Texas. But after that album, they just blew up globally. I mean, they're playing, EDC and all the biggest festivals and so on. And, out in New York, it's funny, they play Electric Zoo all the time. I mean, I think they played it like every year.
Yeah.
So I just remember being a fan of theirs for, it's been 11 years now. I've been a huge fan of theirs. And so earlier this year, I've been producing for about 10 years. I finally got to this point where my music was really starting to click in 2019. And I signed to the record label that they co-own. It's called Enhanced Music. And, so it's like, oh, this is really sick. Like I've looked up to Tritonal for a long time. And, I'm finally kind of on the label that they kind of, co-run with some guys over in the UK. So I was stoked about that. And the good people over at Enhanced, they reached out to me maybe, this is interesting too. They reached out to me in, I want to say July or maybe late June. And they said, hey, it's a Friday afternoon. They were like, hey, got an interesting opportunity for you, take a listen to this track and, would you be interested in remixing it? And I heard it and I was like, absolutely yes. It's because like Tritonal has this sound that's really festival, uplifting. It's like very happy, like it's like feel good music. That's what they're always in about. And my sound up till that point has kind of been a darker, like not like too dark, but like kind of like minor key, kind of melancholic melodies, a little bit less like happy festival sound, kind of more like warehouse sound, if you will. You know what I mean? So I heard this track and I was like, well, this isn't what I normally do, but I think it's going to be a good challenge for me. Because I don't want to lock myself into a box as an artist. And I thought, okay, I've never even produced a track in a major key. I've always done minor key stuff. So I was like, man, this is gonna be weird, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And, I saw it was one of those moments where I was like intimidated because Tritonal's huge. They're a huge influence of mine. I've been listening to their music forever. And it was like, I I got to deliver on this, you know, like I was like, I gotta do this. And it was like a different style than I'm used to. So I was kind of like throwing myself into the fire, if you will, a little bit. Like I'm just gonna figure out how to kind of make this work because it's not in my comfort zone, which I think is good for me. So that was Friday afternoon. So the weekend I get started on it. I start playing with some ideas, and then on Monday, the label reaches out to me. Somebody else from the label, they're like, "Hey, we got another remix opportunity for you." And I was like, "Well, what's the timeline on this stuff?" Because like, you know, I can only, it's like this stuff's, you know, because the thing about remixes is they got deadlines. It's not like
Yeah.
making an original track where you can take your time with it, sleep on it. Like most of the remixes that I've done, I've been up to the wire, man. You know, like you're trying to get that, and I'm kind of slow at producing. So, you know, it's always a challenge for me. It's definitely a push, but I was like, what's the timeline for the second remix that you want me to do? And he was like, all right, 3 weeks. And I was like, all right, well, I got like 4 weeks to do the tritonal one. And I was like, I don't know if I could do it, but I talked to my wife and she's like, are you kidding? Like, do what you got to do. If you got to stay up all night to get these done, like you cannot say no to these opportunities. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, dude, those 3 weeks I was working on both at once, you know, like, and I'm in school right now. So I'm not like only producing. So, you know, I was like, honestly, bro, I was up till 2, 3 a.m., you know, because for me, the day everyone's hitting me up, you know, you're getting emails, you're getting messages. I kind of have naturally gravitated when I get really busy. I start staying up real late because no one's hitting you up. You kind of got that silence, you know? So I was working on these remixes every day for a couple of weeks. And yeah, both went down to the wire because, you know, working on 2 at once, I was just kind of like going back and forth, you know, like I work on one day, work on the other day. And I think in both cases, the last possible day where it was like, they were already knocking on my door. They're like, hey man, like we freaking need this because if you don't send this to us, like it can't be released. And I was like, all right, like I stayed up that night, got it done. So I got both done like the last possible minute, but I'm really happy with it. So the first remix is already out. It did super well. I was really happy with that. I got a great response. And then the tritonal remix that, you know, I have been just waiting to announce. I finally announced it yesterday. It comes out on Friday. And yeah, so the track it's called Electric Kids. And the lyrics and the vibe of the song is basically just a celebration of electronic music. So, you know, it's basically just saying, it's just like a celebration of music festivals. It's like, you know, all of the great things that everybody loves about music and connecting through, you know, going to see live music and stuff. That's really what the song is about. And it's interesting that it's being released now during COVID because nobody can freaking go and do it, you know, like it'd be perfect live. But, you know, in a way, it's kind of cool that it's coming out now because it's like, hey, we're still going to celebrate this, even if we can't do it live, you know? So I'm stoked on it. The original track's out now. The tritonal track, it's out. People love it. You know, I looked at the comments like that, you know, on YouTube, and everybody's like, this is like the core tritonal sound. And I was like, man, like I'm just like feeling the pressure because I hope everyone loves the remix, but I think they will. I'm happy with it. I think it turned out great. You know, and kind of what I wanted to do when I made it was, when I heard the original song, I thought of when I was going to a lot of festivals back in college, when I got into tritonal back, you know, in my college years. And so all of the music that I listened to back then, which, you know, was like these guys in trance music, Artie is one, Audien, tritonal themselves, you know, these were the guys that were really coming up in that era that tritonal also was. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try and wrap all of those vibes up into this track. And so, you know, I think when people hear it, they'll kind of get that nostalgic vibe as well. And yeah, I think I did it pretty well. We'll see how it goes, but I'm happy with it at least.
Dude, I'm so happy for you. That you were like almost bringing a tear to my eye, like just thinking, because like I know how freaking, you know, how incredible that must feel to have it go full circle from 2008, 2009, like a decade later, a decade plus later, like starting off with getting signed originally by them, by their label,
right?
And then to be asked to do a remix for them to come out on their label, like like, that's the shit that, like,
it's true.
that's shit that brings me to freaking tears. Cause like I can see that moment and how incredible that feeling, you know, is for you. Cause like it's like, it's the movies, not the sad movies aren't the ones so much that bring me, they're not the ones that bring me to tears.
Right.
Like the conquering the climbing the freaking mountain that seems impossible to climb, and that overwhelming emotion. You're just like so happy for the person, and like that's the stuff that brings me to tears. And man, like, cause like, look, let's be honest, like I haven't had that moment for signing music. I've only had that moment for getting to opening gigs for certain people. Like the first big opening gig we got was for bingo players, and like bingo players right in that same, you know,
yes, they were coming out at the same time, bro.
Yeah,
What was that track?
Rattle. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
like I was brought to tears for that. Then like, you know, fast forward, we've done a lot of opening gigs, and then getting Dioro, like, his music has it influenced me so
I can
much.
hear it. I can hear it in your guys' tracks. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear it.
And Laid Back Luke, which is, you know,
right.
a big influence. You know, those two opening gigs were, it was just like so overwhelmingly emotional for Chris and I, because
that's so cool.
It's so to.
Well, you know, it's funny, Ryan, because like I'm always working, so I'm like every day, dude, I wake up, and from the moment I get out of bed until the moment I finally so tired I gotta crap, I'm just working all the time. I'm just all the time. And I know you are too. I mean, just it's how we all go. You know, a lot of the cosmic people, just, I know everybody's like that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like sitting here right now, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the first time ever, but like I haven't had that moment where I really sat down and thought about, you know, this is kind of crazy. Like back then, when I was, you know, watching these guys, you know, I was just a college student and hadn't even started producing yet. Like it has really come full circle. It's a really, really cool thing. You know, it's a cool thing. You know, it's like I went to EDC in 2009, that summer after I saw Tritonal for the first time. And it was really when I was super getting into electronic music. I remember telling my girlfriend, who is now my wife, she's, you know, right in the room, 20 feet away from me. I remember telling her, I want to do this, you know, and, you know, if you would tell that kid, me, who was 19 years old at the time, hey, you know, in 10 years, you're going to remix these guys, you're going to be on their label, you know, it's like they play my music all the time on their radio show. And,
yeah,
you know, I mean, I would hope that, you know, if live shows are happening right now, my music, they might play my tunes, you know, live, maybe hopefully someday they will, but it's like, it's kind of like at 19, that would have blown my mind, you know, and I'm always working so hard now. I don't really sit and think about the fact that, hey, I'm kind of doing what I always wanted to do. It kind of really has come full circle, you know? And so it's a cool experience to even have that happen. And for that to kind of just sink in is cool, you know?
Dude, I'm holding back.
Well, you know, I have not had the experience that you guys have had of opening for anybody. Cause like, you know, I've been so focused on production for so long that, you know, I DJ'd back in college. I was really into that. That's actually how I started. But dude, I haven't, you know, that's actually what I was gonna focus on this year. Was like, all right, 2020, I'm gonna start getting some gigs. The rug got pulled out from under us on all that stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that experience someday, being able to open for, you know, inspiration of mine. That's pretty dope, dude. We're kind of coming at it from different sides of the same coin here.
It's so, this whole cosmic journey with Cosmic Academy and showing us how to do both, you know,
crazy,
like how to get into both. And like much like you, like in college, 2008, pledging a fraternity.
That's right.
I gravitated towards the guys who loved music, and it wasn't so much electronic music at the time. But I was the one who like introduced electronic music to my like fraternity and stuff. And because I was the one that was when asked to DJ playing electronic music,
Right,
and
of
everyone
course.
being like, but we want top 40. We want, and I'm
Yes.
like, y'all are gonna love this shit. Just
Yeah.
listen. Like, come on. Like, so I
That's
wasn't
so
getting
funny.
the like fraternity basement gigs. I was having to go out to bars and then being told to
Right.
dial it back and play. And I'm like, and now, I was talking to Bexy about this because our podcast just dropped yesterday, about how like I would go out to these bars now, like visiting my friends who live back in Westchester, and they're playing electronic music, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, should have listened to me back in the day, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really humbling to go back there and to see that, and because then it's like, damn, like I could look at it, two different ways. Like one, like, oh, they didn't like me back then, and so I had to, take a step back and find the gigs that it made me dive into Philly, and like I was a half hour south there, and then I found the gigs where I was welcome and where my was welcome.
Yeah.
And so that was a beautiful experience. Plus, it motivated me to produce, because you're not gonna get the gigs to play your own music until you actually have your own music, right?
I know, dude. I know, man.
So it was a big, motivation for that too. And but it's also, I look at it in the way of like, look, like I was part of the movement that made that happen and that transition. I'm officially like a part of the movement that made electronic music more mainstream.
Right.
Like
you contributed to that momentum that led us to where we are today.
Yeah, like your fraternity being the guys who loved electronic music, and bringing tritonal to a 5,000, 6,000 person venue. Like,
that's true.
Let's face it, that wasn't happening a lot. Besides, Ultra Music Festival was kind of happening. EDC was brand new. Like all of these things that are huge brands now.
That was the time at which they were, that was all of us who were fans or who were trying to push that sound at the time or just in any way promoting it. We all helped to build this whole thing up collectively, the whole community, building it up to where it is today, which is, I mean, people say the EDM boom is over, but I think it's bigger than ever, man. I mean, I really do. I don't think there's anything over about it. I think it's more popular than it's ever been, honestly.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you see so many of the electronic music artists now producing for the top 40 artists.
Yes.
So it's transitioning to where it's
that's why I think it's bigger. Yeah, exactly.
It's no longer like EDM is over here and pop music over here. Like it's finally coming together. So maybe the EDM boom kind of.
Yeah, like the big room, like sound, maybe not so much, but like, dude, you think about hip hop, which I'm a huge hip hop and R&B head, actually, and you might be surprised, but I see that having so much blending of electronic styles, and like there are now genres, like trap is the easy example, but dude, there are tons of genres, even like bass house, future house, like that groove and that bounce has a hip hop influence in it. Like you can't deny that, it's all been kind of melded. Yeah.
I mean, G House is a thing.
That is exactly. That is literally the thing. Yes, exactly.
Dr. Fresh, Dr. Fresh, Bijou. These guys are molding that. They want that freaking like. They want rappers on their shit, and they want that freaking like. Oh, not. I don't know if hood sound is a way to.
I feel you. I got you. I mean, that's kind of the aesthetic, right? Yeah.
It's like they want that. It's and like the fashion that's blended in with that too, and like because that's the stuff that I love. Like I love fashion, I love music, and I love hip hop. That's real hip hop.
Yes, exactly.
Like 90s hip hop, but also I saw. I like to now say, like, I might not like top 40, but I respect those artists so much, and totally. I pay attention to them and what they're doing.
Yes.
And, Drake, I don't know if he dropped an album or if he dropped a couple singles, but I saw a music video for Baby, I think is the song, and he's got like Odell Beckham. Dude, he's got like Odell Beckham. He's got Marshawn Lynch is in it.
Nice.
And
I gotta check this out now.
It's a hilarious music video. And at first I was like, don't tell me freaking Drake is trying to be this like super athlete and making one-handed catches. But then like Marshawn Lynch like lays him out and he's like, and Drake is making the joke, like cracking on himself too.
Right.
And like he's playing like Kevin Durant one-on-one, and
That's
then like
sick. I gotta check it out. As soon as we get done with this, I'm gonna check this out now.
Dude, it's an awesome video. It's an awesome video, and I can sit back and like make fun of Drake, but that motherfucker's got everything.
He knows what's up, man. I mean, there's so much to learn from that music. There's a reason why it's popular, and if you think about like, why is it popular? There's so much to learn there, and it's not just about pop music. It's about like music that humans like, that we like to listen to. There's a reason why, and there is a lot to learn. You cannot discount it. It is important to analyze and to understand.
And exactly what you just said, to analyze and understand.
Right.
The reason why I was closed-minded before to top 40 music.
Oh, me too, man. I went through that phase where I was a hater.
Yeah. I was that guy that was like, everybody likes it, so I hate it. Like, I'm
fuck that. Yeah, exactly.
With music, right? So I was always looking for what's more underground, what's more different, what's more.
Yes.
But now sitting back and realizing, because of the wonderful leadership of Justin Cohen, talking about how like making it more simple. Like, I love the Kid Cudi line, the ones that make it complicated never get congratulated. Like,
right. No one cares, man. No one cares how complicated it is. They just don't.
Gives a fuck. They want to know, is it catchy? Is the fucking 808 or the kick drum fat?
Right.
Like,
that's what they want. It all comes down to the same stuff. And like, I think as producers, and like me particularly, man, I way overcomplicate my stuff. It's actually like something I'm trying to get better about. Like, no one cares how many channels your project has and how much automation you got and how many layers. Like, it doesn't matter, dude. And like, I'm trying to like unlearn that stuff, because all music that people like comes down to the same stuff. Like, is the groove good? Does it have like good like bass? Do you feel it in your body? Like, that's what people like, and no matter what style of music it is, if you really listen, like, it all has that, like, I'm gonna get a little like technical, but like from like a mixing and mastering perspective too, all of the music that people like it all has the same characteristics, like in the mix too, like the low end and like the hi-hats, like this it doesn't matter the genre, like people like that sound because it makes them feel it. Like when you're on the dance floor, you can feel it, and it doesn't matter. Like if you listen to hip hop, you listen to pop music, like it's still like people like the same stuff, like the same elements of the music are satisfying for the same reasons. Like, you can't just say, oh, that shit sucks. Like, no, there's a reason why people like it.
Yeah.
And there's something to be learned there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. You were telling me earlier, you were saying earlier, like when you were starting to DJ and you got to that point where you were like, hey, I got to start producing my own stuff. It made me think about, like, when I started DJing back in high school, way early, I was 16. And, I remember like, I was thinking, oh man, I wonder how people make this stuff,? And so I remember being like 17, and I downloaded a version of like this simple DAW at the time. It's like 2007. It was called Sony Acid Pro. And it was only loops, and like, I remember opening it, and I downloaded that, and I got a copy of Cubase, which is like a crazy DAW. Like, I wouldn't know how to.
Zed still uses Cubase.
Yeah, some people do. I mean, some people like it. Yeah, I mean, for me, I just remember it so well, dude. It's like it was yesterday. I opened up both. I was sitting in my room at my parents' house. I was 17 years old. I'd been DJing for a year, and I understood the music, like how to DJ, like I understood the structure of it. And I was like, all right, I think I'm ready to make it. And so I open these programs up, and I see all the knobs and the buttons, and it's just like, I just remember, dude, I spent about 2 minutes. I looked at it. I opened both, and I said, I'm gonna just wait. I can't handle this right now, dude. It was like too much. And it was another couple years before I jumped back into it. Maybe 2010. Like for 3 years, I was like, that shit was just way too crazy. Like, I didn't know where to start. And back then, dude, I don't know. When did you start producing?
Honestly, only 3.
Like a couple years back, like post 2015, post 2016.
Yeah, when I took Cosmic, it was the first day in Cosmic working on music production
Right.
was the first time that I opened Ableton.
That's so sick, dude. That's so
Dude.
cool, because what's awesome about that is, first of all, you guys, it's incredible to hear that, because when I hear your music, it's like you guys have come a long way really fast. Because
Well, I do want to say, Chris,
Chris has
he it was the first time either of us opened Ableton, but he actually started 5 months before me doing it on his own.
right.
And then I took Cosmic, and then coming around to October, we both took
Right.
Syndicate, which was the other program that
I got you.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
And so he had been producing almost a year, and then Syndicate like really helped him find his sound. Chris was the guy who was like the blacked out studio, didn't know what time it was outside, that would just keep going and keep going and keep going. Because
Yeah,
he's
that's me,
just
man.
like,
yeah.
he's really good with music theory too. Like, can hear a song,
Right.
play it
Yes.
fucking easily.
Right.
Grew up playing the guitar lefty and upside down. Like,
Right. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that's like
with that.
Jimi Hendrix shit. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm the one that's more of the social media. Like, I'm basically like, instead of us having a manager, I'm decent at all that stuff. So
Yes.
I'm doing all that. And
Dude,
then
I wish I had that sometimes.
dude, so like we fill in each other's, holes with
Yes.
that. And, there's
Yeah,
no
and
easier way to say that.
it's like, you're involved with it too. Obviously, like, you both are listening to the music, but yeah, man, I mean, in the grand scheme of things though, even 2-3 years, I mean, that's crazy how fast you guys have been able to develop, and props to Chris for that too, because bro, I've been at this shit since like 2010, like, and what I was going to say is, it's kind of nice to come up now as a producer and get into it these days, because dude, you got things like Cosmic Academy. You got you can go on YouTube and learn literally anything.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of paid programs, unpaid programs, free resources. I mean, dude, there's more than you could ever hope to you can't even learn it all. There's too much to learn. I got a freaking list of stuff I want to check out that some of it's like a year old. I still haven't had the time to check it out. There's so much. When I was coming up, dude, 2009 is when I first time I opened Logic and really like started, okay, I'm gonna do this, is when I got back from EDC that summer. Me and my wife, my girlfriend at the time, we were living together. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start trying to do this. And yeah, dude, on the internet, I mean, there was some rudimentary ass YouTube videos, but there really wasn't anything like there really was not anything like there is today. There was no, I mean, you had to learn it yourself. I mean, you had to sit there and just twist knobs and turn things, and it's like, what did it do? Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, all right, I guess that's what it does. So I was self-taught in that way. And it's nice now because I see people, and I had to take this long journey because I just, there was not as many resources. Now you can start producing and it's so much more accessible, and you can learn so much faster. And it's a blessing. And for me, it's kind of funny, but I spent from 2010 up to 2018 or so fumbling around, trying to do it, but not really having all the right mental models for how to get the sound I wanted to. And it was because all of this stuff became available that I finally, after 7 years of fiddling around with it, trying to make it work, I finally started being able to actually lock in my stuff, because there is so much more information and knowledge and people like Justin and Zach who are out there who are willing to teach you, and for me, I took the class, I took Cosmic in 2019. That was when I'd say I was getting there. I'd actually already signed a couple of songs, but it still wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And it was when I took the class that I finally kind of got over that nudged me over the edge to finally get to, feeling like, okay, I'm making what I want to make. When I have it in my head, I can get it out into the DAW. Because before that, man, it was hard because there was just not as many resources. So it's kind of cool now to see how many people can just jump into it and start doing crazy things.
Yeah, I can really relate to, trying to make it so where you're getting your ideas translated actually into the computer and doing it, because at this point, it's Chris and I have had this great balance where like I have an idea and I can explain it and Chris can get it in the computer. And like, because I took Cosmic and then also Syndicate, I have so much knowledge of music production.
Right.
Where I'm not proficient is just in the actual program of Ableton.
Right.
So
the details and the mixing and all the crazy technical stuff. Right.
And well, really just the using Ableton.
The actual user, like the Ableton feature functions.
Like
yes,
I could teach someone how to produce music, how to do a stem mix, and how to master.
Right.
But to actually get in and do it is the difficult part. So for me, luckily, I've been able to be producing music with Chris, who's really good at that shit. So, but over this, I'm reflecting on freaking turning 30. My goal is by the end of by 31 is to be able to say like I can now translate my own ideas directly into Ableton, and I have all, like you said, all the resources. It's literally just about sitting down and doing it, and I have to find that balance of, because like a lot of people that know me, and I haven't been hiding it from social media anymore, but like being in recovery, like my mental health, my physical health have always been over the past 5.5 years that I've been in recovery.
Got to be the main priority.
Yeah, they're the main priority with this. So like it's right now it's finding the balance between my job, which I go to New York City 3 days a week now, and I'm there. I leave at 7:30 a.m. and I get back at like 8:30 p.m.
Yeah,
but
that's a long day.
It's like it's an hour drive both ways. So, but what's awesome is that I'm working with my brother-in-law's company, who is a content company. So it's like in the industry that I want to be in, and it's a bunch of people who are in comedy or music that have come together to make this company, and then like the amazing like videographer, Photoshop, After Effects people,
that's really cool.
and so like I'm just around like all of this and getting to learn.
In it. Yeah, you're just totally.
So like it never feels like work. It's like I'm going to New York to like learn and engage and do all this stuff, and it's New York City. Like I fucking love it. I purposely park at a parking garage that's like a half a mile away so I can longboard through the city to get to my, like I love it. And so what's really cool, what's difficult is that day does take a lot out of me, because not only I'm driving an hour both ways in New York City. It's wild.
I know.
Dude, and so and then all day it's like I'm engaged all day, because I'm the quote unquote office manager, so I'm making sure everything in the office is good, and I have to order things and take in orders and then
switched on. It's not autopilot. Is what
saying. The whole day is I'm learning from people, or I'm doing, and so like those days I don't see myself unless I already drink a shit ton of coffee and yerba mate and all this stuff. Like it's the other 4 days of the week where I have to address, but I also need to make sure that I am taking a break, because like my mental health is the first thing that I need to, hang out with people that love me and care about me and do things that I love. So like I'm trying to balance, on those off days, exercise, being like actual Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and podcast, and working on music. So like it's you
got a lot on your plate, bro.
while also like I'm trying to help my family. I'm trying to help my friends, like where they, and so it's so far over the last month that I've been now going to the city and doing this. It's been, like you said, wake up, sprinting until I pass out. Like I can't believe that I wake up. I pretty much go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night and wake up at 6 every day. Like I haven't been on that schedule since like, I don't know, high school. Like, but I love it because I'm waking up with the sun, and it's like, it's peaceful like that. And it's like the natural circadian rhythm. Like I'm going to sleep when it gets dark and I'm waking up when it gets light. Like that's how we were when,
kind of how we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Right. Like I love it. But I gotta fit in, because I've been able to take care of everything and do all of this stuff that I'm talking about, except open up Ableton and do that learning process. And part of it is the fear of failure. Like, am I not going to be this, where I have in my head?
Yeah.
But that's because my brain as an addict is wired negatively. And a lot of people can relate to that. I know that's not just addicts, right? And
I mean, yeah.
And so why I try and do the physical health and the mental health so much is because I need to rewire my freaking brain. 5.5 years clean plus is not, I've not rewired my brain fully yet. Like that.
It's a long time, but it's in the long run, it's not gone. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you gotta unwind that stuff all the way.
So it's about when that thought of what if I'm not good enough comes up, it has to be like, what if I'm fucking better than I think? Like
you gotta immediately flip that on its head. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I not only love that there's so much resources to learn about Ableton and music production, but there's so many resources to learn how to rewire our brain and stuff now with
man.
Literal with Dr. Joe Dispenza. He literally teaches you how to rewire your brain.
It's actually building the different pathways, like on the neurological freaking level. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, like it ain't a metaphor, dog. Yeah.
It's not a metaphor anymore. It's literal.
Right, yeah.
And then there's this guy, Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist who was just on Joe Rogan's podcast, who's talking about how we about releasing dopamine and all these different, and like, I'm a dummy. I just listen to a podcast and like, I need to listen to it again and like figure out.
I know, right? Try to absorb like 30% of it. Maybe. Yeah. I feel you, me too.
So there's just so, I love that I've been able to, like, I can't beat myself up too much. Like I've finally been able to get it on a schedule where like, I can do everything. Now it's just add an hour a day of sitting down and
totally.
And Ryan, instead of, listening to two podcasts while I'm doing all my stuff for the day, that's just like comedy and like, or educational, how about I make it pensados, right? Pensados.
Right. Yeah. Try to just,
what I mean? Like
knowledge in there. Yeah, exactly.
So and then I love that I go into work a little bit early. I think I need to wake up a freaking half hour earlier so I can get there. Right? Like, there's always like, how do I get more time? Right?
I know. I feel like waking up earlier is a good way to do it, but it's hard.
It's hard because I got to go to sleep earlier so that I still get 8 hours. And like, I got this freaking Whoop strap that tells you about your sleep. And like,
nice.
Somehow, dude, it's incredible. It tells you about your sleeping, your exercise, your heart rate variability.
That's pretty cool.
There's so much data.
I'm into that type of data too. Yeah, that's cool.
Dude, it's incredible to see that. But here's the thing. It tells you how much percent of recovery you have from your sleep.
Oh, really? Interesting.
It's
from like an exercise and physiology point of view.
It's incredible, except I'm only getting at the most like 60% recovery right now. And that gets in my head like I can't do enough because like I'm doing so much. So my body's
so
actually
funny,
like,
dude.
Ryan, like you probably need 10 hours of sleep with how much you're doing. And I'm like, but that's 2 more hours I'm not going to have to do shit.
Dude, I wonder, that's interesting. Like, I wonder if you didn't know, right? Like if you didn't have the data, like if you didn't know that you're only 60% recovered, like maybe you wouldn't even know. But now that you know, you're like, oh fuck, maybe I am tired. You know what I mean?
Right? Like I think, you just gave me an idea. So like one thing that I should do is instead of checking it in the morning, I should check it after my day at night.
That's not a bad plan. Yeah.
How much I was able to accomplish on the percent recovery that
actually might be more useful, bro. And then it's not screwing with your head all day thinking, oh fuck, it's gonna be a bad day. I'm only 58% recovered.
Yeah, like because it has the, like if you're in above 70%, it's like green recovery. If you're in yellow, and then red. I keep waking up on the edge of red, and I'm like, oh!
You might prove to yourself how much of a badass you are. You're like, dude, I'm in the red zone. I'm still fucking crushing things. Like, maybe that's a bad thing, but dude, try that. You know, it's funny you're talking about this stuff because, you know, it's actually been like a bit of a challenge for me lately as well, just trying to find that balance because, you know, I look at a lot of artists like you guys where you kind of have the duo thing going on. And it's like, man, I kind of wish, sometimes I wish I had that because it is, dude, it's a lot to balance, you know, because it's like, you talk about how much, you know, you work like on those days where you're going into work. It's like, I read, I don't know if you ever read or heard of, it's a book by Benjamin, like the colonial freaking American dude, you know, like the founding father guy.
I only heard you say Benjamin. Benjamin
Benjamin
Franklin?
Franklin.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It cut out a little.
Yeah, he had a book that he gave like just life advice. It was called Poor Richard's Almanac. It's kind of weird, but anyway, he said like the ideal day for a person is 8 hours of work, 8 hours of leisure, and 8 hours of sleep. That equals 24 hours. That's like the ideal day. And it's like
Yeah.
we're meant to have some sort of, it's like naturally we need to have some downtime. And like lately, man, I mean, you know, you've seen my music journey this year. You know, it's just been like one thing after another. I'm grinding on it. And dude, it's like I have like no leisure at all. You know, I'm pretty much always working. And it's like for the first couple of months of this year, I was like, it's cool, man. I'm just wired this way. Like I can totally do it. And I will admit to you, man, like I told you the story about those 2 remixes where it's like I got the one remix thing and then I got the second one and I was just like grinding on it all the time, staying up late. After that got done, dude, it had been, you know, 7 months of just straight up every day just going balls to the wall on music and marketing and just trying to connect with everybody and talking to as many people as I can. And you know how it is. I mean, you do the same thing I do. Dude, I finally have seen that I had to slow it down, bro. Like I finally caught up with me. You know, just again, like you said, reflecting on being 30, maybe and I don't like to think this way because it's like you only as old as you feel, but bro, I had to admit to myself the last couple of weeks because I got those remixes done. I was just tired, bro, and I could feel the burnout because I'm doing the music, like I'm trying to sit down in Ableton and write the damn songs and produce this stuff. And then I'm also trying to promote it and I'm trying to talk to everybody and, you know, trying to connect with people on social media. And then me personally, I'm like a really caring, generous person, just like you are. I know you. You know, it's like if someone hits me up, I'm going to respond to them personally. You know, I treat everybody like, you know, in a personalized, I want to interact with them significantly. I'm not just a flame emoji guy. I'm like, I'm going to talk to you, you know?
Yeah.
And people hit me up, ask me for feedback on music. And it's like, and I really try to put the effort in to establish connections with people. I'm not trying to be superficial about it, you know, but it's a lot to balance, you know, cause I'm like I said, I'm a student too. So I'm during the days I'm trying to work on, I'm in a design, an app design boot camp. It's software design. So that's, you know, it's mentally taxing as well. And I kind of just had to admit, man, like the current rate I was going over the last 6 months, it just wasn't sustainable for me. So I'm like, the month of August has really been, okay, what are the ways that I can, my sleep schedule, getting back into exercise, dude, since COVID started, like I used to be big into exercise, like lifting all the time, like I'm really into it, bro. I started falling off. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people did, but
Yeah.
you can get away with it for a little bit, like grinding all day, not looking after yourself, not exercising. It's like, are you running off adrenaline, just drinking coffee? You can't go like that forever. And you know, it's like the month of August, the last couple of weeks, it's like, all right, how can I do this in a more sustainable way? Because it's been incredible. You know, I think I've grown a lot as an artist in the last 6 months. I mean, I got a lot of support and, you know, all these opportunities, but it wasn't sustainable for me, man. I got to find out a way to like, am I going to be able to do this for the next 5 to 10 years? At that rate? No, I wasn't going to be able to. So I'm really trying to find that same balance, dude. You know, it's like, how can I make sure I'm taking care of myself, spending time, dude, me and my wife and my family. It's like, I wasn't spending as much time with them as I wanted to, you know, those things are important. So it's like just trying to structure every day, every week to make sure I'm touching all my bases and not neglecting stuff and not neglecting myself. Cause it's important, bro. I hear you on that 100%.
Dude, I love that you touched on how when someone hits you up, you really want to,
Oh, it's important.
You want to have a genuine answer. And like where it's almost like I'd rather not, like my friends and everyone knows my phone is always on do not disturb.
Yeah, me too, dude. I had to turn
Because
it
I
off.
can't.
I can't do the notifications. I can't do it
I
anymore, bro. I
can't
can't handle
handle
it.
it. If just now in this podcast, I can tell you I see 11, 15, 16, 17,
Exactly.
10 there, plus messages there.
All the time.
It's like
Bro, like, okay, I was thinking about this. I've had days like this too. I could wake up on a Saturday and I've fallen into this trap before. You gotta be careful. You can sit there and go from messenger to email to whatever, and all freaking day, there are opportunities for, you could always be responding to people, talking to people, and do nothing. Not do nothing, but
I know
you
what you mean.
caught up in the fact that there's always someone you can be responding with, engaging with, to connecting with. You have to, it's like, and it's actually kind of addicting, right? Like, it's like, damn, like people are hitting me up, like I want to talk to them. You gotta like structure that time, because for people like us who are trying to make it in music and trying to come up, we're always trying to grow. Feels like, okay, this is good. It's important. I gotta keep connecting with these people. And it feels like you're doing work, but you still have to sit down. Like you were saying, bro, you still got to sit down at Ableton sometimes. You can't just all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you got to turn the phone off and like actually do some work, because but the thing is, that's tricky though, because it is doing work. I mean, this is important stuff. It really is important to connect with people and grow that community. And like we started off this conversation saying people want to know who you are, and that's a good thing. So it's important. And when I release a song, or when you guys release a song, part of the reason why they do well, or I think they do well, is because there's a lot of people that we connect with, and that's what it's all about. That's in 2020. That's how you grow your music brand, is one relationship at a time. I really think that, but you got to balance that too, because you can do it all day, bro. And you gotta you have to turn those notifications off, and an hour a day or 2 hours a day, you got to just, I'll get back to you later, because I got to do this right now. Yeah.
I get really overwhelmed, man. And I really want to, like, I hope people see this and hear it. Like, I don't want to just yes or no you. Like, I want to I don't want a flame emoji
that's exactly.
There's just, I wind up not responding to people for a day and a half, sometimes 2 days, and just being like, man, like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I read your message as soon as it came in, but I didn't want to just not give you a thought out answer.
Give you the energy that I can give you when I have the time to really give you a significant response.
Yeah. And the worst is when I'll be driving and I'll see a message come in and I read it and I'm like, no, I'm driving. Like, I can't, I'm not supposed to be reading it.
It's hard.
So then at that point I've clicked on it. So it's not a new message anymore. So then
I forget. I know. I know.
Like,
I use that as my to-do, right? Like, if it's still a notification, that's my to-do list, basically.
Yeah.
It's because if I read it, I might forget, bro. Like, it's happened a couple of times. I feel bad. And I try, it's so funny, dude, because like you and I, we probably interact with a similar amount of people a day. It's like, I don't want to leave people on red either. I always try to say, hey man, I'll get back to you soon. But it is a challenge, bro. It's actually, for me, it's one of the biggest challenges right now. Yeah.
I turned off my read receipts. So at least they don't know that I left them on red.
Because everyone knows it's not cool. And I will get back to you. Like, it's important to me to get back to everybody. But yeah, I just need the time, dude. I do the same. Like, what I've been trying to do, and I'm not always successful at it, is, okay, I wake up in the morning, I kind of try to take care of my morning routine. I do some stretches. I kind of take care of my mind a little bit before I jump into it, because the moment I jump into my phone, dude, like, I just get sucked into it, bro. But what I've been trying to do is, all right, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to set I got my timer right here, sitting here in my studio. I set 45 minutes. I'm going to respond to as many people as I possibly can in 45 minutes. And when that timer goes off, like, all right, I'll do this again later today. I'll set another hour-long timer in the evening, and I'll get to as many more people as I can then. I've been trying to do that. I'm not always successful at it, because you start getting in a conversation with somebody or whatever, but that has been what I've been trying to kind of implement to just structure this better, because man, like I said, I found some days I'm just always just talking to people, and you got to have the balance. I mean, how have you dealt with this? What are some of your strategies to deal with this? I mean, it's always a journey, but
Bro, you just told me my solution is the timer. Like, I don't know. I haven't found the solution yet. I have, and especially, and now, of course, yesterday being my birthday and making a post on Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
There's all these people that have said happy birthday, and like they took the time out of their day. Yeah. Like they all took, everybody who's ever left a comment, a message. It's my goal to respond to everybody because you took the time out of your day to help support me. And so a lot of these people don't even realize just one comment helps so much. Like,
well, that's why you and I get along, because I know we have the same mentality on that. I respond to everybody, bro. Yeah.
So and not like, and that was not, I don't want to say before Justin told us, but like that, like anytime anyone's ever supported me, thrown a like on, back when I was making SoundCloud mixes and I had 25 followers and 15 listens, like I appreciate all of that. Like, of course, there was a part of me that was like, man, like I thought this shit was really good. Like you would think that it would have more, but like anyone that does, you know what I mean? Like there's that side of it too. But like I'm grateful when anybody, when I see someone shares my song and tags me on their Instagram story, like that's, I love
that. Yeah, it's a good feeling. And that's what I wanted to say, by the way, bro. Like we've been talking about how to deal with with everyone trying to get back to everybody, but I just want to say, this isn't a burden, bro. It's not, because we are blessed to even have the opportunity. People even care enough to even hit us up, but so I'm not trying to talk about it as a negative at all. It is, I'm so grateful for every person. That's why I want to get back to them. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Yeah.
That's the point that we're really trying to make it. It's like, you got, and like the people, even if whether it's friends, family, fans, like it all means the same when you give a like or a comment, and they took the time out of their day to support us, which is helping our career. So we want to really thank them, like not just like laugh face or
exactly. No, I totally agree, because people's time is valuable, bro. And like, we talk about this as musicians, but this is not just for us. Everybody in life in 2020 is busy as hell, man. That's just how society is. So everybody's time is valuable. I don't try to even, my time is not any more valuable than anybody's. We're all in this together, as people are taking their time, their effort, their energy to give you a little bit of support, a little bit of love, and you got to give that back to them. I'm all about that, it's so that's, that's something that's been important to me. It's kind of funny because my birthday was yesterday, or I guess on Sunday. And, I had more people hit me up than ever. And I was like, I was overwhelmed by it in some ways, but I was also like, this is freaking awesome, but yeah, man, I mean, it's been good. And it's like, this is why when you have a release, like, because people know that you care enough, that's why they want to continue to support you, because they know you actually value their support. They know that when they congratulate you, when they share your music, that it really matters to you. And that's important, man. I mean, that's why, that's why, it's not just, this isn't a strategy. This is a real community building, this isn't some life hack. This is like, we're actually building friends here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like there's people that have, followed me for a certain amount of time that I didn't know before. Like most of my fans are people that I've actually met and friends and family, and that I've known from, growing up or going to college or in the music industry. Like so I know most of the people that are following me. So when someone that I don't know follows me,
that's really cool.
And it's not just like someone who's following me to get them get me to follow that, what I mean? They're like, oh my God, like a friend of mine showed me your song and it's awesome, or I saw a podcast and it was awesome, and they actually support. So then here's the thing it's funny, because like listen, we don't have the most followers in the world, but when I'm trying to find the balance of when do I followed these people back, and
I've been thinking about that too.
I'm like,
And honestly, bro,
I'm just
like,
so grateful that they're following me. So I want to show them support. So then I follow them.
that's because you and I are like that. That's because the mentality that you and I have, you know. And it's like, you know, man, I see sometimes like, and I know we're coming up on time, so you know, we had to wrap it up. But what I want to say though is, I used to kind of like when I first started, maybe a year ago, it was like, man, like you're concerned about that ratio of how many people follow you to how many people you follow. Bro, I don't care about it anymore, bro, because I just came to this conclusion. I was like, do I want to be defined by that being cool, or do I just want to be a generous ass person that if you support me, I'm going to support you too? And I don't care about it anymore, bro. I don't even care, because when I got something that I want to promote, who cares how many people I follow? They're all the people who follow me still going to see it, and I want to give back to them. And you know, so I just, for a while, I was like, man, I got to maintain the ratio. It's like, screw it, bro. Like, if you are going to actively participate and engage with my music and you're going to show me support, I'm giving it back to you. And so I just stopped caring, bro. I mean, I know it's like some people care, but for me, I just had too much guilt not following people. I'm like, no, that's not right, bro. You know what I mean?
But it's you know, something that kind of came to me as you were talking, and to that point is like, if there's ever going to be a time when it gets to, you know, a crazy amount of followers, like that'll be at a point where we're not able to keep up with it, right?
Yeah. And eventually that will happen. Yeah.
So now it's important for us to continue with,
while you still can,
giving
value
getting
that
support. So
yes,
the
totally,
balance, because when it comes to a point where we're not able to do it, it's because it's, you know, we now have a manager, a social media manager, an agent, and all, like,
exactly.
And to this point, like, we
point.
do all of that. So like, it's great because the people that follow us and support us now, like, we know they genuinely do care and actually support it, instead of it being like, you know, one of Drake's 15 million followers. He probably has way more than that. But you know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of funny because I don't know when I'm ever gonna know when I am at that point. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of what you're saying too. It's like, when am I at the point where I can't handle it? Because some days I feel like I can't handle it. It's like, dude, it's like, damn, when am I gonna know? You know what I mean? But no, I totally agree with you, man. Hey, I know we're getting up to the time, but I wanted to ask you, when is your guys' next release? Is it coming up soon? Do you have a date yet, or you just know it's coming up?
We don't have a official date.
But know it's in the pipeline.
We're sending over the track and the stems and all that stuff now.
All right, so you're in the final. You're getting in the pipeline. I feel you.
Originally, it was going to be in August, but then we had it was going to be the release before Bring the Funk, but so then it got pushed back, and then and then Larry had some other releases, and I started doing this, and I was like, wait a second, we're still doing this, and then he was like, yeah,
is it on Funk Junk? Is it on Funk Junk? Can you say?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, excellent. Yeah, Larry's the homie, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, I freaking love him to death, man. We talk all, and that's the other thing. Like, we talk all the time, but like, I forget that, like, he's the CEO of the record label that we're, so like, everything
we're juggling, man, that we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, amplify it by 1,000,000 for somebody who's running a record, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta understand that too. So I've had release dates change, and I don't get mad. It's just, I know they're juggling 10 times more than me. Yeah. I'm just happy that eventually it's gonna come out, you know. But yeah, dude, I'll be looking out. I'm excited for it. You know, I'm gonna support you guys as much as I can. And yeah, by the time this airs, it'll be out. So my track, Electric Kids. So, you know, when you guys hear it, hit me up. Let me know what you think. I hope everybody loves it. But yeah, Ryan, thank you so much for having me on, man. This is a blast. It's the first time that you and I have got to really sit down and talk. You know, I know we've engaged with each other a lot, but it's really been a pleasure, man. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Congratulations on the incredible release, the remix for Tritonal.
Thank you, brother.
I'm that like, hearing that whole story just warms my freaking heart, man.
Well, now that you know, it'll mean more when you finally hear it. So
and this is exactly why I wanted to do this, because someone that sees you releasing that doesn't know that story and doesn't know how
Yeah, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to really get into that, you know. So I'm glad this is nice timing for today. But
oh
you know,
yeah,
man, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure.
yeah.
You know, good luck with everything. Have a great week, and I will be looking out for stuff from you. And peace, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the new track.
And of course, happy belated birthday to
Yeah, you
you.
too, brother.
We're both 30 now. This is crazy. This is awesome. So
I'm never gonna forget that. Every year, I'm be like, all right, it's Ryan's birthday right after.
So again, congratulations and
Thanks,
thank
bro.
you for being on the podcast, man. Let everybody know real quick how to get a hold of you. What is your Instagram,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I am Taylor Torrence Music on everything except Twitter. My name is too long. I had to do T Torrance Music. But yeah, so you guys know where to find me. Yeah, look out for the release. And yeah, thank everybody for listening, and hope you enjoyed this, guys.
All right. To all the listeners, peace, love, unity, respect.
See
We're
you,
out.
Ryan.
I'll talk
Have
to
a
you
good one,
soon,
bro.
Taylor.
Nice to see you,
Love you,
brother.
brother. Peace.